pretty excited about this video. This is a project that I've been putting off for months, I guess. And the reason that I'm excited is because I'm about to share two accidental findings that are incredible. So a little background is quite a while ago I was watching Ox Tools, and Tom was making some kind of a stand for the surface plate, and he was using this round insert to make a nice round thing for the base of this tower that he was making, and I'd never seen that before, and I thought that was really cool. So you start the search on the internet for the insert and a holder, and there's not much out there. I mean, they're out there, but this is a mini lathe, and I cannot accommodate a 1-inch insert holder. So I resolved myself to the fact that I'm just going to make this thing a holder. I mean, I've made other holders before, and it's no big deal. And this project actually turned out quick. This is just a few hours to make this thing. So you start searching for the round inserts, and there's quite a few out there, expensive, but this is an experiment. So I go to Banggood, of course, where it's cheap, and I find a nice little box of 10 inserts, 10 millimeter diameter, for $5.66, free shipping. Order them. Been sitting on them for months for the project, but finally got to it. So that would be the first accidental find. These things are incredible. I'll put a link in the description to them if you want to buy them. The picture at the very end of this video, you'll see a close-up of it. I did, because they were round, and I talked about that in the video, I did decide to lap and hone them, or one, and try it. Incredible. Turns out too, when I started to lap the thing, it's not even flat. There were like, you got the circle, and it's hitting here and here. So you had to take it down quite a bit to get it flat and sharp, and big difference once that's done. So there's that guy. And then the other one was, I had mentioned before that I bought a 10 millimeter end mill from Banggood, specifically because I bought some neodymium magnets off of Amazon for things like the Chuck Spider and stuff. And they're 10 millimeters, so I wanted to make a nice clean pocket. Turns out you use this thing on aluminum and the chatter is just insane. I've tried it when you do the plunge for the pocket for the magnet. The walls are fine, but the bottom is a wreck on aluminum. So I use it anyway, because who cares about the bottom? The magnet's going to cover it up. And I've tried it doing it on different facing and different things on aluminum. Chatters ridiculously amount. But because the insert's 10 millimeters, I'm going to use this to create the pocket. And you'll see in the video, this thing on 1018 is insane. So I'm buying more of them. I couldn't believe how this thing works, and I don't understand why it works beautifully on steel, but on aluminum it's a nightmare. But all right, so that's the other accidental find, and I'll put a link in the description to that guy. So I highly recommend both these things. So here's the video on making this guy and the results of turning with it. Man, I hate working with steel now. All the slivers that keep showing up on this. Alright. This is a Grizzly end mill. It's doing a fairly good job of it. And then my magic kerosene mix. Put that there. Real slow RPM. I gotta take this down 32 thousandths here. And a little faster than that. Take a 3/1000th cut there. Oh, it just grinds and smokes away. But I can already see, I mean, these nasty slivers are starting to fly all over the place. That seems to be a pretty good RPM. That's giving a pretty nice finish right there. Either that or it's because I'm taking a light cut, but it's going to take a while to get there with this. Let's see how it does going back. Yeah, I kind of like that finish. Doesn't matter though, I'm going to take it to the belt sander anyway. Alright, more magic goop here. And another 3. Take it down. I'll take it to 7.5, so this is a little bit bigger. I never ever dared just taking like a 5,000 to 10,000 cut to get this over with. Just always afraid of wiping out an end mill. But I think I did that. That was a long time ago, and I think I did it because of no lubrication and way too high on RPM. Yeah, now the finish is like the same going this way. It was better the other way. Running the x-axis the other direction. Crunch, 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 crunch. Oh, it'll take a while. Alright, well, let me take it down where I need to. Well, so far so good. Famous last words. Still wondering, these are Banggood inserts. They were dirt cheap. But they sure are smooth on the edge. And looking at them under the magnifying glass, they're kind of, I don't know. But, okay, so that 3/8 tool, I turned it down, or milled it close to 3/8. I wanted it a little bit thicker, maybe. Can always take it down, so took that down 40 thousandths. Not sure how to clean that up, but so this width here is that bottom small dimension. So it sits on there. Now it'll be rotary table time to do the radius of the small, which is 175 thousandths, I'm figuring. And then I've got a 10 millimeter end mill, which is few thousandths off of that radius. So I'll be able to come in with this guy, another Banggood Drill Pro. Bought this guy because I've got 10 millimeter magnets like I used in the Chuck Spider to just sink down in and make a nice pocket to glue the magnets in with. So I plan on just coming in once I got the radius and going down. I don't even know how far you go down. I never thought of that. All the way. I'll have to look at some of the Google images on them and see how far down they went. And being a giant hole, I'm gonna have to make my own screw for it. So this is like the closest. It's just a little bit of slop, but I don't think that's gonna matter, and I'll just stick this in the lathe and cone it, angle it a little bit. Doesn't look like that's the perfect cone in there. It kind of goes down and then it's around. So I think I just have to hit a little bit down in there and it'll automatically center the part up. So that's the plan for that. Did a little bit of sanding here on the surface. Doesn't look too hot, but I can always do that later on once I kind of get this tool working. So I guess it's set up on the rotary table for a 175 degree radius. Well, this one's always fun to do. Set up for rounding it. First time I set it up like an idiot, I completely forgot to put a spacer underneath so the end mill doesn't go into the table. Grab a gauge pin that just kind of will center it up. Yeah, you can see it just now shifted, so I know where it's at. And then you can rotate this way, perpendicular to me, and then 90 degrees, and get in there with a magnifying glass, eye loop, everything, to see where it is. So I'm set, I think. DROs are zeroed out for this position, so that I know I can come back here and drill the hole, and also use the end mill to cut that radius shelf, lowering it. So I've got it clamped down, I think, really good, because I do not want this sucker to move when the end mill's cutting it. And I'm just going to take real slight cuts. So it's going to take a while to do it, but hopefully it's going to come out good. I had to stop. Hopefully the camera can see that finish. This is the Drill Pro 10 millimeter that I bought from Banggood to, like I said, just do plunge cutting to make the pocket for a 10 millimeter neodymium magnet. When you're doing the plunge, you get chatter like you wouldn't believe. I've also used this on aluminum for doing other kinds of cutting, and it just chatter no matter what. This is going into this piece of steel like it was butter. And that surface finish, I've never seen a finish like that. It's almost like a mirror. I put my finger on there and it feels like glass. So I'm pretty cool cutter. I might be buying some more of these guys. That's just crazy. Drill Pro. I'll put a link to this in the description. It was like a $10 end mill, and it just went right into this thing like butter. Not even that much of a burr on the end or the top. So I'm set now. Just need to drop a gauge pin in there and back it up until it just touches, and then go 1,000, probably more, and then drill and tap it out for the screw. But I am impressed with that end mill. I think I'm gonna buy some more of them. I wish they went bigger. 10 was the biggest, and then they go 8 and then on down, but for the price tag, just incredible. Huh? Look at this finish. I am really impressed by this end mill. Drill Pro, I think it's like $10 or $11. I'll put a link in the description. HRC5 micrograin carbide end mill. Just wild, and it didn't touch it at all. It looks exactly like it was brand new. Usually a lot of these coated ones, you can see it wear off after the first use. So I've got this done, cleaned up. A little bit more cleanup to do, but I'm curious to see how this thing works. And with that end mill, I'm going to take this shelf back, way back here. It'll look better. I didn't realize I was that close. So now, how to cone this thing. I was figuring I can probably double nut this. It's a 4 millimeter screw, because it's not sinking in there as is, right? Yeah, no. So it's not going to center it up. I have no choice but to make a cone out of it. So I guess I'll just double nut this, and I just got to start touching it in a 3-jaw, angle the compound, and get this kind of funneled, and then I can try this out and see how it works. I hope it's good. Okay, I got this guy done. This is why I encourage everybody to make a thread protector. Just lock it down in there and angle the compound and go in and funnel it. So it looks pretty good, I think. Just guessed at an angle. I don't know what it was, but so is it going to fall in there and not go too far? Oh, perfect. Look at this. So that should do it. Man, looks like it could go actually further. But I'm going to call it quits at that. Clean this guy up. Use the Drill Pro to bring it back further. And this finish too. This, I had originally did it with the Grizzly. The finish was so nice on the Drill Pro, I went and finished that again. did a finishing cut with it while it was still in the rotary. So let's see what this is gonna do here. It looks pretty good, I think. Nice looking tool. Hope it works. Oh yeah, it's definitely seating and I can feel it pulling it over. And perfect screw too. It just pokes out, but alright, give this a little bit. Had to modify this guy so it fits, because it was for the Harbor Freight 1/4 inch guy. So there we are. I've got relief on it. Yep, everything looks good. Now it's a matter of setting the height, because I'm going to try this on the old lathe. So 666 thousandths to set the height. So here we are on height. And there's the compound. Bring it back a little. I don't think it matters what angle it's at, right? Okay, bring my magnifying glass over so I can see what's going on. Kind of low RPM, I guess. That's pretty low. Well, it goes right in there, huh? Wow, no chatter. That's taking a pretty deep cut. Let me back up. Back up more. Back up more. Just pulling it right off. Go in some. Wow, I'm impressed with that surface. Let me just go straight in, see what happens. Need to go slower. Probably need some cutting fluid in there. Wow, that's crazy. Go in a bunch. This looks like it's a tool that you can work with. That is making one serious cut, let me tell you. I've never pushed this lathe this far, this deep. There's the brush. Get some cutting fluid in there and see if it makes a difference. Wouldn't doubt it if it does. It's kind of riding on it now. Kind of forcing this thing in there. Ooh, it's a lot of pressure I'm putting on there. Cutting fluid was a bad idea. There we go, cleaned it off. Oh great, just blew them all over the floor and my socks. Wow. That is freaking awesome. That's taking a major cut. And it's looking good. Where's the rag? Oh, long ways away. Grab another paper towel here. Clean it up. That tool does a nice job. I'm surprised, especially since I've said cutting edge, felt round, dull. Eesh. Well, I got another great tool to add to the drawer should I need to do some kind of a round in there. Be nice if I could get an assortment of different diameters, but that's it. So I hope everybody enjoyed and have fun making one if you want.